Hi everyone, and welcome to our video on finding a missing side to a multiple right triangle problem. So we need to find x, and in this problem we are given two right triangles. So the little box, means that these are right triangles. And so what I'm going to first start with is I'm going to say like this is triangle number 1, and then this is triangle number 2. Okay, because we have nothing known about triangle 2 except one missing, or except for the angles. So we don't know any of the sides. However, I have the sides of the other, I have a side to the other triangle. So that's why I marked it number 1. So this is the first thing we can work with. Well, this is also, let's start to fill in blue. When you have triangles, you can start to fill in some missing information right away, especially with the angles. So if that's 30 degrees and this is 90, that must mean this is 60, because 30, 60, and 90 add up to 180. And then our other triangle, I do know this missing angle because I have 90, I have 72. That means this must be 18, because I know 18 and 72 is 90, plus another 90 is 180. Okay, so I'm just filling in that missing information. And now I'm going to use the color red. And with my triangle number 1, so it's still marked, I'm going to mark all of this. Notice that they do have one side in common right there. Let's do our triangle number 2 in green. So that side's in common. Okay, so first thing we need to really do is find this missing side right here. I'm going to call it y. Okay, and then I'm going to, so you could redraw these triangles. So here's triangle number 1 by itself. So there's 40 inches, and we know that we have 30 here and 60 here. And then I really just need that y. So, I mean, I could find the other missing side if I want to, but I don't really need it. Now, there's two ways we can go about finding y. We can do SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so SOHCAHTOA can always help us. Okay, so we could do SOHCAHTOA. And I could set this up. Let's set it up. So I would use the angle 30, which means this 40 is opposite. This blank side to the left would be the adjacent. And then the missing side that I need is the hypotenuse. Okay, so if I'm using 30, I have the opposite and I have the hypotenuse. That would be the sine part. So that's opposite and hypotenuse. So I would have sine of 30 degrees equals the opposite, which is 40, over the hypotenuse, which is y. Okay, and then, so if we set it up with SOHCAHTOA, that must mean we should be able to solve for sine of 30. Sine of 30 we can do, it is 1/2. Okay, and we could use the unit circle, whatever it takes to get that. Okay, so we're going to show it another way anyway, and I would still have 40 over y, and then we would cross multiply, and we would get y is 80. Okay, so we have y is 80 inches in this problem. Okay, so all of that right there, let's mark it and we'll highlight it. So we now know y is 80 inches. So we have that missing side now. The other way we could have done this first triangle is we could have used the 30, 60, 90 property. Okay, so I'm going to mark that in this dark blue. So directly across from 30 must be in, the hypotenuse must be 2n, and then this missing other side would have been in radical 3. So if n is equal to 40, and if I plug it in right there, notice 2 times 40 is the same thing, 80. So it would have been a little quicker to do that, but still, SOHCAHTOA works, just in case you don't see the special right triangle. Now, the special right triangle also would help if we needed that real quick, because again, we could just change that into 40. So that missing side would have been 40 radical 3. However, we don't really need it for this problem, so I'm going to ignore it. Now let's move to triangle 2. So triangle 2 looks something like this. You don't need to draw it the same exact way, but I'm going to mark that. We now know the side y. That is 80. And then we need x, and we have our angles. We have 18 and we have 72 degrees. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the 72. Let's do that in purple. So 72 is my focus, which means this is the opposite. X is automatically the hypotenuse. This missing side would be the adjacent if I didn't need it. It looks like I don't need it. Okay, so with my right triangle, so this is not a special one, so I can't do what I did in the blue in the previous problem. What I can do is SOHCAHTOA though. I can use that. Anytime you have a right triangle, you always have SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so and on this problem, I have opposite and I need hypotenuse. This is also sine again. Okay, so it just worked out where both of them are sine, so it just depends on the triangle. But here we have sine of that 72 degrees would equal the opposite, which is 80, over the hypotenuse, which is x. And so now all we have to do is solve for x. So I would multiply the x to both sides. And we would have x times sine of 72 degrees equals 80. So sine of 72 is just some random number. We would want x by itself. So let's divide that random number, the sine of 72 degrees, on both sides. And we would get x is equal to 80 over sine of 72 degrees. Now this is that exact value answer. Okay, so we've got it, and it would be in feet. Let's just put feet, or no, not feet. It would be in inches. Sorry. Okay, so we've got this in inches. There we go. Okay, so that's the exact value answer. And then to get it in a calculator, so approximated to 2 decimal places, we would just plug it in. Okay, so I would use Desmos. I'm going to mark it in orange. So let's just type it in. Okay, so I already have Desmos open. So we're doing 80 divided by sine, and it's already in degrees. So degree mode, make sure it's in degrees. It is. There we are. And we get 84.12 to 2 decimals. There we go. That's that. Okay, so we're all done. So that's how we could do these style problems. All right, so SOHCAHTOA, both cases. Special right triangle if you see it. 30, 60, 90, and 45, 45, 90 are special triangles. But SOHCAHTOA gets the job done no matter what. All right, so that's finding those. If you have questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.